all along I've been attempting to qualify why I make these videos and really reflect on my intentions behind them. It's so important for me to know my motivations on why I'm doing what I'm doing. And all along I really couldn't put my finger on my intentions behind this, or the purpose, or why I was doing it. And I was gaslighting myself by believing I wasn't trying to help other people, and that I was more doing this for myself. And now both things are kind of true, but I'm doing this for myself because this is my practice of speaking, of teaching others. And I believe I feel something forming inside of me that is magnetizing me to do that more often, to teach others, to be in front of people, to be speaking. I really enjoy that one-on-one in my coaching, and I also enjoy an element of making these videos, and I'm trying to understand where that's coming from and what I'm to do with that and what I'm supposed to be doing with that. And always what life is about is drawing towards what brings the most joy. And I happen to find joy in working my way through these truths. There's a difference between a truth and a narrative or a concept, and I want to talk about that in this video. But and I enjoy engaging the intention of others, and it's not even the qualification is to make sure that I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. I'm talking through, and I enjoy engaging in these conversations, but I'm talking through in two people. And there are people who have their own life experience that allows them to engage in discussions like this, and I really enjoy that too. And I'm going to be making some podcasts probably with some other people, most definitely making podcasts, and I'm excited about that. And then there's also people out there that are drawn to the truth of the words, or even the essence of the message, and maybe don't know how yet to engage with that, or to have a dialogue and go back and forth, but appreciate there's a magnetism that's in them that is drawn to the words. And I think that's what my Instagram videos and my audience is about. And there is an interaction. You can comment and you can engage in the content in other ways, but also I think there's something else building. I'm allowing it to manifest. How is this going to show up? Where I'm engaging audiences or larger numbers of people. Two people in front of me would be larger. So I think this is important for me to process, and in the order of how this has been going, I'm doing it with the camera on, sharing it with people, and basically calling my shot. I'm like Babe Ruth standing at home plate, calling his home run, that I'm going to be speaking in front of other people. I'm going to be doing this more often because I enjoy it, and there's such a thirst for it, and there's so much happening in the arenas of life that people are seeking something that is beyond the things that drag them down or drag them into this depressive realization of what's happening. And it's not, this engagement is not to escape those things, but it's to put those things in perspective and to remember what's deeper, what's longer lasting, what's more eternal than the transactional nature of suffering, of being in the life, of witnessing tragedy and disappointment and worry and doubt and fear. And I think there's a bit of faith in one hand, but also hope in another sense with these videos, that you can create a lifestyle to where you live more in like a reverent awareness of the more eternal things, the more infinite, the longer everlasting things, than being so caught up in the narrative of suffering, the narratives of suffering, plural. And to me, it feels like a more enjoyable way to live. And what is enjoyable? Not that I enjoy the suffering, that I enjoy the ability to be able to hold my suffering in loving awareness and realize that that's part of the experience of life. And I think for so long and so often I would be embedded in these negative feelings or emotions and just wonder why is this happening to me. I'm a victim. You know, I'm not supposed to be here. This is not supposed to be happening to me, I think was always the core thought behind this. And you know, there are great videos out there about expectations. So if you're expecting this and you fall short, that's what disappointment is. And I was quite often disappointed because I thought my life shouldn't include as much suffering as it did, or should include more abundance. But you begin to hold these awarenesses in a higher light so that you can experience things as good as pleasures, and even as challenging as suffering or disappointments, in the same loving awareness. And it feels, more empowering. It just feels like and there's no ego involved, which is the cool part. And there's no like identity of the only way to get here is like through the reverence of it. So there's no abuse up here. There's no dragging it through the mud. There's nobody you hate up here. Let's put it that way. That's also doing this. And there's nobody that hates you. Like, hate can't exist at this vibration of awareness. Because it's acceptance of what's happening around us. And so much of the suffering is a resistance to the acceptance of what's happening. This shouldn't be happening to me. I don't want this to be happening to me. I want this to be any other way. I'll do anything to not feel the pain of being in this moment right now. I'll numb, I'll eat, I'll drink, I'll smoke, I'll do whatever. And even the good things. I'll have sex, I'll masturbate, I'll indulge myself, I'll have pleasure. Pleasure will escape the pain. And it's all an escape. And so how do you get to this point without escaping? You realize the nature of it, but you don't let it consume you. You're not in it. You're not it. You're something else that can witness it, that can experience it, and that can still survive. That still exists beyond that, even in this body, because we'll exist, I believe, outside our body at some point once we shed our body. And while we're here, that's what heaven on earth is, enjoying the miracles of being here, of being in this physical form and experiencing the suffering, the challenging things, and just having the full range. And to be able to hold it all in awareness and accept it and to trust it, that this is the experience that whatever I signed up for, or God is giving to me, or I don't have control over. Either way, I don't have control over it in my human form, in the way that I'm experiencing it in this third dimensional reality. I'm here. So might as well understand or drop the resistance to not wanting to be here, because I am here. So full acceptance of what is real, what's in front of us, what's in front of me. And there's masculine principles at work here, and just dealing with the responsibility of life. To show up and to accept these things, and then to mold and play with them and create with it. We're creators. We're supposed to be creating with the experiences that we have, the people in our life, the events, the suffering even, and especially. Out of every situation is made up of yin and yang energy, good and bad, masculine, feminine. And then the suffering, there's also opportunity, there's also bliss, there's also joy. Somehow, why can't there be? And in the same place, there's depression and success. There's the realization that whatever high point we're at is not going to last. We'll come back down. Whatever goes up must come down. And now we're thinking in wave forms. We have a balanced location that goes through the middle of the crests and the troughs of these waves. And so when we're up, we know it's coming back down. When we're down, we know it's coming back up. And we don't get too high, we don't get too low. My dad used to always tell me that. We recognize it for what it is. We're witnessing the experience of it, but we're not attaching ourselves to the narrative up here. We're witnessing the experience of it, but we're not attaching ourselves to the narrative here. And we stay center. And what is center is our breath. That's why I'd like to do breath work, but even like just being aware of your breathing is breath work. And that's what mantra is. I happen to be getting into chanting and just anything repetitive. Just say the same word over. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be Sanskrit or Hebrew or any of these other languages. Take an English word, take any word, and say it over and over and over again, because you want your mind to be focused on the voice or the breath, because it's what's constant. It's over and over. And what is constant is in alignment with what's infinite. What has existed before us, what will exist after we're gone, what keeps going, what is perpetuating the reality of everything. And to live in communion with that is bliss, because that's what we are, that's who we are, that's where we came from, and that's how we exist here, whether or not we believe that. We're in alignment with the infinite. And so to remember that and to experience it and to be inside of it is hopefully that middle line, that balance point. We're sitting on the seated edge of awareness, as a friend shared with me, the seated center of awareness. We're in the middle of experiencing all things. All things are true, that we're in this physical reality, that we're in the infinite, we're somewhere in between. We're in both. We hold both at the same time. It's a beautiful thing.